Good pleasure to talk to you, Steve Tucker. This is an important interview, I think. I mean,
Thank you.
you're a great artist, and what you released, orchestrating the apocalypse, great work.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that, man.
Very good stuff. Now, where did you get the idea to, to maybe make the songs and stuff like where the influences and that came from?
Well, man, I've kind of had an idea to do kind of an album sort of like this for a while, man. I wanted to do something where every single song sort of tied into the other, as opposed to just writing a bunch of songs. I wanted it to sort of be, a compilation, man, a storyline. I wanted it to follow something, and I kind of had the idea, and honestly, we did Formula's Fatal to the Flesh, man, when I was in Morbid back in '97, and that was like, sort of touching on, the power of nature and things like that, which was something that I was really into, man, and just over the past probably 15 years, I'd say, man, I've kind of watched the world kind of go crazy, man. It seems to me anyway. Maybe it doesn't to everyone, but to me, it seems like I've watched the world sort of start to funnel into madness, man, and really what the album's about is how each thing, it's sort of the butterfly effect. This, overpopulation causes nature to do crazy things, which causes nature to do other crazy things, which causes people to do crazy things, and it ends up being chaos, you know. So that's really kind of what the idea of the album is. And like I said, man, it's an idea I've kind of been pondering in my head for a really long time.
I mean, the power on it, you can tell it's very, very good. I mean, the opening track just kills it. Incredible.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, the opening track, it's called 12, and it's about, the stroke of midnight, the beginning or the end, whichever way you want to see it. Actually, the layout of the album and everything is, it's laid out like clockwork, to where after you finish the last track, it goes right back to 12 and begins again, just like a day would, or just like a year would. So yeah, and we started it off with pretty much just the I guess really the assault. Probably, I think, one of the most straightforward, intense songs on the entire album. And we wanted to come out with a bang, man, and it to sort of be like what it would be, at the beginning of chaos.
It certainly did, and you proved it on this song. It's very, very powerful, I should say. Like, I mean,
Thank you.
it's what we need to do is get this promoted, to a lot of people. Death metal today is not what it used to be, and you seem to be doing justice to it.
Well, I really agree with you, man. To be honest, when I went into this, I could have gone in, I could have got a much bigger deal, been given a lot more money, but really, I honestly didn't want to be part of that machine, man. I've kind of come from an era, man, where people became, not don't want to say big, but people grew because of, substance, man. They were good. You know what I mean? And through tape trading, through word of mouth and things like that, people grew, and that's really kind of what I wanted to do with this. I really wanted to go back to a very underground approach and prove it doing shows and releasing good music, man.
And how are shows for you?
Well, I mean, actually right now, I'm just starting dealing with people for booking shows, and to be honest with you, there seems to be a little bit of resistance and backlash with people seeming to feel that I think Warfather is bigger than it actually is, which isn't the case at all, man. I just really want to do shows. I don't give a shit that I was in Morbid Angel or whatever. I mean, it's part of my history, but, man, I put a band together, and I'm going the underground route. I just want to do shows. I want to get out and play live shows and prove to people that, we're serious, man, that we mean business, and, we've got a message, man. And to be honest with you, I really haven't had much luck with getting on with any kind of like name bands, but at this point I'm working on just putting together stuff of our own, man, stuff with some other bands that I really like, and just going out and bringing shows, at a pretty gritty level.
So you're playing all the guitar tracks on this album?
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing all of my rhythm tracks and my solos. Also, Armaturo's playing on it, and I mean, he has some solos on the album as well.
You're known to be a bassist in Morbid Angel, and a lot of people probably just didn't realize you're a guitarist when they see this
Yeah,
album.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I mean but to be honest with you, man, I've played guitar since I was a little kid, long before I ever picked up a bass or even really laid hands on a bass, man. And I played guitar, and I ended up playing bass in bands really because, man, there was 100 great guitar players in every city. You know what I mean? Not a lot of good bass players, and a lot of people were looking for bassist vocalists, and man, I just did it for really because it was needed. You know what I mean? More than anything. I've always played guitar. I've always loved guitar. I've never wrote a song on bass. Everything I ever wrote was done on a guitar. It's always been something I played. I just played bass pretty much at practice and live, man. I never played bass at home even.
Now, Steve, what type of amps and guitars do you use?
I'm using PV stuff, man. I'm using the 5150 and it's 6105 plus, man. Right now I'm digging it, but to be honest with you, I'm looking to possibly go into like the fractional audio stuff for live, just really because the fact that you're always bringing the same tone, and you have more control of it in a live situation than you do power amps, which lose tubes and things like that. And sometimes that shit happens right in the middle of a show, man.
Right.
I've played live shows where the power went out, and then when the power kicked back on, we had to wait for the tubes to warm back up before we could even play. So trying to eliminate that and, be somewhat modern, man. And the fractional audio stuff is just brilliant, man.
Steve, what do you think like guitar simulations and stuff like iPad and stuff like that are doing, like Amplitude?
Yeah, man, to me, it's great. I wish I would have had Amplitude when I was like, 12, 13 years old. I was running a distortion pedal into a stereo to have some kind of amplification because I was poor, man, I think there's good in it, and I think there's bad in it. I mean, in a program like Amplitude, you can play with it and tweak it, and you still have to play guitar. And then there's other programs, man, that I've found out about that, man. You don't even play guitar; you just put in the notes, and it plays guitar for you. Now that I don't know about that, man. I think that's crazy. I don't see. Plus, everything I've heard done by that, there's no feel. At least Amplitude, man, it's just another means of having an amplification for somebody.
What do you think in 20 years is going to be like the quality? Like we're going to actually have the tubes and, assimilation? Or is it never going to reach that level?
Man, I have no idea, really, to be honest with you. I wish I did know because I would be the guy inventing this stuff for the next generation, I would, but, to me, I don't know. I didn't really see computers becoming the way that they are. I didn't really, see that you would really be able to do basically every single thing that you want to do in music on a computer. I never really pictured that. And I got into digital recording pretty early too, man, way back in the mid 90s and stuff. So I never seen it becoming this digital, it's really crazy, man.
Now, Steve, let's say for, being knowledgeable, writing songs and all that stuff, because you do get interesting song titles. Do you watch a lot of documentaries and stuff to keep up to date with world?
Yeah, I do, man. I watch, I flip around a lot on the news and things like that and watch kind of different perspectives. And I try to even watch, like a lot of European news and stuff, just to get a whole different perspective on stories and things. But, yeah, and I do, man. I would say most of the TV that I would watch would be like Discovery Channel or History Channel or something like that. And not so much the reality shows. I like the, like modern marvels and things like that. I don't know, man. I like to learn,
Yeah, learning is a good thing, and then you get to write some concepts.
With knowledge also, with knowledge comes, knowledge of things that are negative as well as positive. So, sometimes you can be oversaturated with knowledge, man. I believe that, but there's not that many people that really are these days. I think people kind of do the minimum. So I think having knowledge has to be a good thing in the end,
What do you think of websites like Wikipedia and stuff like that, for information?
Well, the thing about like Wikipedia is like, anybody can go in there and put, write whatever they want. So, I think it's great for, being able to get quick knowledge on something. But at the same time, you don't really know that it's 100% true. Anybody can do it. So like I said, I mean, someone told me to look at this metal encyclopedia thing, and I read it and found out, man, I was in all kinds of bands I never even knew I was in. I was in Nile for a while. I didn't, these things never happened, but yet there it was on the internet, and people believe it. Again, that's having that instant access, man, and people can just look, and I mean, if they just take whatever they read for the truth, then that's kind of a problem as well as a convenience.
So, when people do that, is it because it makes them happy to know Steve Tucker was, in Nile or something like that? Or, they're inventing some stories for you?
Yeah, I really don't know. I think that, it's, people read it, and then, like, I've been questioned about the Nile thing in particular. I've been questioned about it in interviews about, this time that I was in Nile, and, and the fact is, it never happened, man. And I mean, I tell people that, and they seem confused, and they're like, well, I read it, and I'm, I tell them, well, I mean, that means somebody put it there. That doesn't mean it happened. It means someone wrote it,
So in your eyes, let's say for the death metal health, of 2014, where do you see it, is it as healthy as it ever was with the new kids listening to this stuff now?
Man, here's the thing with death metal. Since when I first got in Morbid Angel, well, first of all, from the time I started playing death metal, everyone just, said, oh, man, that's, whatever. That's not going to last. That's just, blah, blah, blah. And then it went from that to, people saying, oh, death metal is just a trend. And then come around like 97 or so, the time we did formulas, all I heard was how dead death metal was. And, and I seem to have heard that every single year of my existence since, that death metal's dead, that death metal's best days were in the 90s or whatever. But, the fact of the matter is still pretty thriving. I mean, there's a lot of bands. And, I mean, death metal to me is the same as it always was, man. You've got some really great, incredible, groundbreaking bands, and then you have a lot of bands that aren't necessarily that, So it's always kind of been that way. I think it always will be that way,
And let's say for artwork on this album, where did you get your design and, decide to lay it like that?
Man, the artwork was done by a guy named Ken Coleman. He's from Limerick, Ireland. And I met him through, someone actually recommended him to me. They told me, check out this page he had up or whatever. And, it was an old friend of mine, so I checked it out. And when I looked at it, man, I kind of loved what the guy was doing. He was kind of mixing sort of a natural element with a mechanical element. And to me, that's kind of really, in a way, that's kind of what the world's becoming now. It's kind of a mix of human and mechanical, you know what I mean? And they seem to be becoming more and more intertwined. And that's sort of the issue, And then I contacted him. We talked about the concept of the album. He told me he was interested. We talked about it for maybe an hour or so to 2 hours possibly, And, man, a couple days later, he sent me the exact artwork that we're using. And I just was absolutely, completely just blown away. I told him, I wanted something to represent, the all-knowing, not God, necessarily, but maybe, the idea of a mother nature, an overlying force, and, I wanted the world to be falling into chaos. And basically, this is what the guy sent me back, And I was just, honestly, man, I was inspired by it. And actually, it inspired some of the lyrics and, stuff on the album itself, I think the artwork's amazing, dude. I was blown away the first time I seen it. When I received my CDs, I was blown away. I mean, it's just, I love it,
And good artwork makes sometimes a good album as well.
And I miss that whole package, man. I mean, I know everybody wants to just, buy, iTunes and whatever, but man, I really miss the package, man. An awesome cover, with an awesome layout and, something that you can sit and look at for hours and find stuff in it. And, man, that's how it was when I was growing up, man. I would take an actual, album and fold it out and just, man, I'd read every single detail and, you know what I mean? I knew every single thing about that album. So I was hoping to deliver something that people would, take the time to look at.
And one good thing is vinyl is coming back, on the rise, so people might go back into that.
I'm actually stoked. I do believe that we're going to do the Orchestrating the Apocalypse on vinyl, and I want to do some extra stuff on it and make it special, man. I'm really looking forward to that.
A few more questions here. Like, let's say your voice
Yep.
keeping it so strong, throughout the years, and what you released with Warfather.
Man, the thing is, it's my voice. It's not like, when I'm singing, man, I'm not trying to do something that, is, I'm not screaming my head off, I mean, really, that's my voice. I mean, people have accused me of yelling many times when I wasn't yelling. It was just my voice, I can be just, when I get excited, I can be pretty loud, man. And, I come from I love, like, growing up, dude, I love Ronnie James Dio. And, when I first started singing, it was all about trying to be powerful, so that was kind of the part of my voice that I tapped into. And, man, I've always stuck with it because it's something I like. I enjoy it. I like my voice. So, it's the way I sing, man. And, I've done this for years. I don't really have any problems unless, of course I get ill. If I get ill, then, I have problems. But, I really never had too many voice problems.
Well, that's good, and you keep up the good work because it's sure going for you good and a lot of power to it.
Yeah, man. And I try to take care of myself. I'm not, a kid anymore by any means, and I've always tried to, work out a bit and, eat pretty nutritious. Sometimes it's difficult, but, you take care of yourself, your body stays good, man.
Steve, what do you think of lyric videos being produced now, on YouTube and stuff instead of mostly making a promo video?
Actually, I got to tell you, I don't really mind it so much. I do hate the fact that, everybody puts up, where, not necessarily a stream, but, where just a point where you can people download the entire album. But as far as like the YouTube, like lyric videos, I don't really mind it, man. I think it's pretty cool, to be able to go and check it out. For one thing, like extreme metal, man, for like, death metal and black metal and things like that. I mean, they're not going to get a lot of airplay anyway. So, for a band that was more mainstream, their songs might be getting played on the radio or whatever, and, people are hearing them in their car and stuff like that. This way, man, people hear your music kind of randomly because they listen to another band. They'll kind of, if they click on you, they'll hear you, and it's, maybe they'll buy an album, know? I mean, the downloading the entire album, I think that's kind of crap, man. I mean, to be honest with you, it really sucks. It's hard to be a musician because of that. But, at the same time, people being able to have access and just listen, man, I think that's a good thing,
Well, Steve, excellent interview, and I really appreciate you taking the time, and talking about, orchestrating the apocalypse and your life in Morbid Angel and Warfather. Just excellent stuff. I'm very impressed myself, and I wish you only the best in this.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, and man, I'm just trying to make good music and stuff I enjoy. You know what I mean? So, but thanks a million, man, and anytime.
All right. Well, you have a good one, and hopefully talk to you again soon.
Cheers, brother. Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Bye.